Well, so this segment of the program is called Lil Oscar and the Wiener Mobile. Lil Oscar and the Wiener Mobile. When I was a kid, and shit, I don't know when this would be. Let's see, I think it would be the early 70s. Let me turn off this fucking haircut, you know? I was growing up, we had a beach house in Laguna Beach, and my grandparents had a beach house there, and then we had a beach house there, and you know, really like a very luxurious position in America. And one of the things I always loved about our beach house was that it was a whole bunch of condos. I don't know how many condos, like 200 condos that were all done in tiki style. They were built in 1965. But the coolest part about sort of, we would spend every summer there. The thing I really liked was that people said hello to each other. Which even at that time, people were not doing on the street in California. Or even, I mean, geez, I can't remember in my life a time when people were still saying hello to each other on the street and acknowledging each other's presence. So the cool thing about Laguna is that, at least in our little enclave, was that people still did that. You couldn't pass by someone in our little world without them doing that. You know? So it must have been in the 70s. God, I'm trying to think. I must have been probably around 16. I was somewhere on the street somewhere, and I spotted Lil Oscar and the Wiener Mobile, and I decided, if you're gonna see Lil Oscar and the Wiener Mobile, you gotta fucking meet Lil Oscar, you know? And you know, this is this huge fiberglass truck, and if I remember right, there was like a weird pop-up hatch in the middle of the giant wiener that Lil Oscar would emerge from, you know? And I have to tell you that Lil Oscar and the Wiener Mobile is part of my inspiration for the Eastside Tomato King and the Tomato Mobile. Now, the Tomato Mobile, which you've seen, is a 86 Volvo wagon, and I don't pop up from the middle of it, but I do have a horn, an Auga horn. So I was just as smart and final, and came out of Smart and Final, and two kids were dangling out of a ginormous SUV on the back, there are these decals with how many children are in the family. There's the mom, the dad, and then there's, and literally there were about 12 little girls and boys all holding hands. Tells you it's a very large family. Tinted windows, the usual setup, but ginormous. So I come out, the kids are dangling, you know, like kids wont to do, you know, dangling out of the sides of the SUV, thrilled that they can, do that and be adventurous and all of that. Huh? So I remember when I was a kid, I remember what that felt like, you know? So I get to my car, and the car's all dolled up, and I said, you guys want to honk the horn on the tomato mobile? And the little boy, naturally, who's probably 6 or 7, says, yeah! And we become such a fucking paranoid goddamn culture. It's so stupid. It's so beyond the beyond. That I open the car doors, get in, no, don't get in, open the car door, and by the time I do it, I see that they have clamped shut this fucking SUV. You can't see in. The mom's so fucking paranoid. She's thinking that the kids will be absconded and, I don't know, I'll be in Tunisia by tomorrow. And so I just honked the horn. Ooga, ooga. This is what it sounds like, kids. You're not going to experience it because your mom's so fucking paranoid. She thinks that the Eastside Tomato King is going to steal one of you or both of you, and maybe the other 8 of you, and maybe even the fucking dad, and be in Brazil by the morning. Come on, kids. I mean, come on. Oscar Mayer and the Wienermobile couldn't even exist today. The Wienermobile? The Wienermobile and young boys. And Lil Oscar. Huh. You know? I'd go back to what that felt like in Laguna when I was a kid, when everyone would say hi. There was such a level of reassurance and outright friendliness to that. And as a gesture, because that's a gestural position, yeah? It felt warm. And boy, have we fucking gone to cold. Fuck. We're not even just cold. We're freezing. You know? When you get to that point, where the fuck are you? There you go, kids. Ciao.